Good evening and welcome to the Fumblerooski Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Wright, alongside Justin Tucker and Brian Mucker. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Playoff matchups are set. It's playoff time. So we're going to go around and we're going to talk about what intrigues us the most, which matchup intrigues us the most about this upcoming wildcard weekend. We have 3 triple headers, so it's going to be a big wildcard weekend. So we'll go around. How about Justin? You start.
I'm looking forward to the Ravens and Titans. It's been a long time coming. It's go time.
The Ravens fan speaks.
Mm-hmm. How about Brian?
Maybe like the Bills and Colts. I would always like to see what Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs always have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to win that match. But yeah, I would just like to see that matchup.
Okay. So, Washington football team versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm sure you guys may or may not have heard, but a certain rookie who has not been taught a lesson yet by the name of Trey Young chirped off Tom Brady saying how much he wants him. So, all you have to say, literally, Bruce Arians said it best. Be careful what you wish for, son. Really. Welcome to the big leagues, runt.
Sir, I'm going to correct you here. Not Trey Young. It's Chase Young.
Chase.
What did I say?
You said Trey.
Trey Young? All right. Yeah, I don't even know his damn name. That's how you know he's going to be. This guy's going down. He's like, seriously, you would think players would have learned their lesson by now. Every single time a player does this, it goes down as bulletin material, and Brady shreds them. Like, I get it. The Washington football team matches up very well against Tampa Bay for the roster they have, given they're a sub-500 team in the playoffs. But you don't chirp off. There's a couple rules you follow when you're in the league. You don't get hurt. You don't chirp off the greatest of all time. You just don't do that. Thomas, Edward, Patrick, Brady, especially playoff Brady. It's one thing, like regular season Brady. Every now and then he'll have a bad game. So be it. Okay, I get it. But playoff Brady. This is the guy who came back from 28-3. He screwed over an entire franchise, probably ruined them. Look at what the Falcons are like now. Look at how the Seahawks are now, being haunted by the fact that they did not run it at the goal line. And it came down to that because Tom Brady led a 10-point comeback in the Super Bowl. You don't chirp this guy off. Richard Sherman learned his lesson. The entire Falcons franchise learned this lesson. All right? You just don't do that. I think the one time I saw a team get away with it was when the Eagles were saying it and the defense screwed them over. Still threw for 500 yards and 3 touchdown passes. So I'm going to enjoy all of this, what's about to happen, and it's going to be amazing. All right, going on to Titans, Ravens, Justin's topic. So the Ravens fan, are you nervous?
Hell no. We're going to handle our business. We're going to go straight to Nashville. We're going to put our foot in there, you know what, and we're going to leave with the W. That's all there is to it. Lamar Jackson's going to throw the ball, throw 3 touchdowns. He's going to run for over 100. J.K. Dobbins going to handle that rock, stiff arm a few people. Gus Edwards, the bus, will not go down easy, and we'll win the game, I'd say 24-10. Easy money.
Oh, 24-10.
Yes.
10? You think King Henry is scoring 10 points? Mr. 2K over there. You think he's scoring 10 points?
Yeah.
Also, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Stick their foot in. I don't know what. Say it.
Their ass. We're going to stick our foot in their ass, and we're going to break our
no holding back.
No, I'm disagreeing here. I'm saying Derrick Henry is going to be running all over again like he always does. He's done it this year. He did it last year. He can do it again. Not saying that, and considering Derrick Henry's there. And also, another thing is, I don't know why you said 10 too, because Derrick Henry can easily put up 3 touchdowns. You saw it against Houston.
We not Houston. What? Oh my God, Houston sucks. I love Deshaun Watson, but he had nothing to work with. Their defense is atrocious. You saw what A.J. Brown did with 18 seconds left on the clock. Don't do that to my defense. That's not going to happen. Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters are 2 different breeds, man, compared to the Houston Texans secondary.
Okay, fine. Yeah, the Titans wide receivers might not be as good, but Derrick Henry, he's not a wide receiver.
I understand that, but what y'all need to understand is this season we did not have Brandon Williams or Calais Campbell in that game.
Yeah, that
Had
doesn't
we had
matter.
them, it would have been different.
Because all that line needs to do is make a little lane for Henry, and if he gets into open space, it's over.
If he needs to run out in open space, I like my chances because he got cracked in open space too.
Even if they do figure out how to plug up the run,
yeah,
they still have 2 receivers that they have to worry about, in A.J. Brown and Corey Davis. Corey Davis having a great season so far with over nearly 1,000 yards. And the tight end, the breakout tight end, Jonnu Smith.
I like Jonnu Smith.
Had a solid season so far.
Mm-hmm.
A.J. Brown has been explosive. He's taking a great second step this year.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I look at is that so far what I see in this Baltimore defense is last year's Baltimore defense was better than this year's Baltimore defense.
In what way?
Overall, they had a better energy. They were better at stopping the run. They were more stingy. Their secondary had no leaks. Probably one of the best arguably the best secondary in the league. It was just a better. You had a better. You could feel a better, more. You could feel more intense energy coming out of that team.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't. And number one, Henry gashed them.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, that offense is for the Ravens is even worse than it was last year.
Not.
Last year?
It's not.
Last year they had Mark Ingram going. They had what's his name? Lamar Jackson was having a better season than he is this year. Historically great season. They were riding momentum. It was awesome. They had Marquise Brown, who was playing well. He's not having a good year this year. They lost one of their tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark Andrews has not been the Mark Andrews of last year. He's not having
a season. Tight ends. They had Hayden Hurst last year.
He got traded, and Nick Boyle got injured, and he's out.
Nick Boyle. So this team is 11-5.
Yeah.
And it feels like an 11-5 team to me.
I'm totally fine with that. We're better on the road than we are at home, and I just don't understand why. My thing is, how do I put this? In the 5 games that we needed to win in order to make the playoffs, or at least make a push for it, we ran over 1,300 yards. To put that in perspective, we actually ran more in those 5 games, had more rushing yards than the Steelers had the entire whole season. You just don't count us out in the running game. And we're the second, I think we're the first team ever in NFL history to have back-to-back 3,000-yard seasons rushing the ball, which is unheard of. And as far as Lamar having a down year, still had 1,000 yards rushing, still passed for over 26 touchdowns, only threw 9 interceptions, still was an MVP caliber, not MVP, but still a good quarterback. And he missed a game while dealing with COVID and missed 2 fourth quarters.
Right. He still had a down year, though. Yeah. And if it felt like the Titans had an up year from the season prior. So it seems like the Ravens were all the way up here. Titans were down here. Seems like it's evened out a little more, and the last time they faced off at each other really wasn't much of a contest.
We just couldn't score. I think that's all it was. I don't think we turned the ball over too much, and we just couldn't get down there and score. We had to settle for field goals unnecessarily, and we went for it at the wrong times. That's what I think happened. And oh my God, I can't. stand when Marlon Humphrey went for that double move for that touchdown. That really angered me. But I still think this year we have a better chance than we did last year.
Well, I'm gonna say this right now. I always like to piss you off here.
Yeah.
Justin. Marcus Peters. I'll give Marlon Humphrey credit. He is a good corner. But when it comes to Marcus Peters, I don't like his play style.
I know you don't.
He was way too much. Way too much to me.
The man isn't.
And to me, that
likes him. I don't know what else you want from him.
Well, you need to not gamble. How about that? Learn from Marlon Humphrey. Don't gamble.
Humphrey learned from Marcus Peters. It's the other way around.
Marlon Humphrey, to me, is the third best corner in the league.
Mm-hmm.
If Marcus Peters learns from him, he could be in the top 5. But no, he always gambles every time. And that's going to leave Ryan Tannehill to throw the ball more to, I'm assuming, Corey Davis. Does I feel like Marlon Humphrey
I wish he would try to throw it to Corey Davis. I wish he would. I have no problems with Corey Davis. A.J. Brown? Sure. Because every time he runs that in route, it always seems like it goes for a touchdown. I don't know why. But every time he runs that 10-yard and in, it usually goes for a touchdown.
Well, this might be challenging for Marlon Humphrey, but I don't even really know why. I'm assuming because I'm assuming AJ Brown, he's obviously a good receiver, so it might be a little challenging for Humphrey.
Yeah, it'll be a battle.
But your main focus for the Ravens should be on Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry's not going to be that problem. The way I see it is, I look at what the Steelers did to him. The Steelers held him in check the entire game and was able to beat the Titans. I can see us executing a similar game plan and stopping him to the point where they won't rely on him as much, and they'll put him to the sideline because the game will be out of hand at that point.
All right.
If you go up 2 scores, there's really not much he can do.
All right. Well, do you want to know this? The Titans were without their best lineman that game. Suffold was out. That's why. He always gets Suffold, or whatever his name is, always gives him that lane to go through. And obviously that replacement for him never did it.
That's going to be a problem if they're going up against the Ravens.
Well, yeah. Obviously you guys have Brandon Williams and Calais Campbell.
Yeah.
They have Stephon Tuitt and something Hayward. I always forget his name. Cameron Hayward. Yeah, obviously they have those two, but Calais Campbell, to me, is the only threat. I don't know about Brandon Williams.
You're not moving Brandon Williams. He's staying right there, and you will have to move him laterally, and you need a double to do it. So I'm fine with him being right there.
All right. Well, I'm just saying that if that line gives him space, and he's out in the clear, it's over.
Again, the only thing we crumbled was the fourth quarter and overtime. If we actually looked at the game, we did fine against him in general. It's just the fourth quarter and overtime he took over. He's just as good as his first carry, as well as his 30th carry.
That's what I'm saying. What the Ravens need to do, Justin, is that they need to be on Derrick Henry throughout the whole entire game, not just 1, 2, or 3 quarters. He's like a second half player sometimes. He could be he could either have a down first half and then have an explosive second half.
They need to force him to throw the ball. They need to force the Titans to throw the ball. That's what they need to do. Get way ahead and plug up the run. That's how you do it.
Exactly what they need to do. You saw what Cleveland did against the Titans. Did Derrick Henry get the ball ever again? No, he didn't.
That's what I'm telling you. And it's not like their defense is all good right now. Their defense is terrible right now. It's not as good as it was. It doesn't look too good right now.
Tennessee's?
Yeah, Tennessee's defense looks bad right now.
Yeah, Tennessee's defense is significantly worse than it was last year. I think the run defense was actually not that bad last year. Now this year it's horrible. And it's the same with the secondary. It's just their number one corner, Malcolm Butler, is undersized. I mean, I love him to death. Being a Patriots fan, he's a hero. But ever since he left New England, he has not been. He was clearly a product of Belichick's system. He was effective. He's clearly a player who's effective when used right, and it seems like only Bill Belichick knows how to do that. And ever since he's gone to Tennessee, where they wanted him, it seems they want him to become that player. He just hasn't been that, and that could be an area where Baltimore capitalizes. It's just a matter of whether or not Lamar Jackson can throw it. Theoretically, if they are able to run the ball, if they plug up the run, then forget it. He's gonna have to throw it.
I have no problem if he's in the red zone. He's going to target Malcolm Butler with Des Bryant or Miles Boykin. I have no issues with that. But the problem is, you would have to plug up the run inside, and then you would have to worry about outside zone runs too, because of J.K. Dobbins getting the edge. If J.K. Dobbins gets the edge, it's going to be hard to stop the Ravens. You have to stop Lamar and J.K. Dobbins, and that's hard enough as is. And then you put Gus Edwards into that. It could be 200 like that.
See, I don't understand why I understand the Ravens use Gus Edwards for like goal carriers, but
no, we use him in general.
It should be just J.K. Dobbins as the main running back.
The man averages like 5.3 yards a carry. What do you want us to do with that? We can't just put him to the side.
Well, I'm not saying
he's like top 10 in that area. Right. Lamar and J.K. Dobbins are top 10 in like yards per carry.
Yeah, you guys should. I guess you guys should just get rid of Mark Ingram at this point. I don't even know why they even have him.
He was supposed to be our starter. It's just he got injured and J.K. Dobbins took over. That's what happened.
COVID, yeah. Going back to like the Titans defense, I think the reason why it sucks is because they lose Logan Ryan, which I think was a really good corner that they had. But then you signed Jadeveon Clowney, and he hadn't recorded a sack this year. That's what I don't get.
He signed Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah.
Because I get that they signed Jadeveon Clowney. He's a damn good player.
When he's healthy.
He didn't perform this year.
Yeah, that's my question. Like, why isn't he as good now?
He's out.
Dude, like, he's played, like, what did he play? Like, 8 games this year? He didn't record 1 sack.
You don't judge him by sacks. You judge him differently than, like, sack totals. That's not him.
He just had a very bad year overall. Like, I saw him in Houston. Houston's defense was lethal when they had J.J. Watt on the line and Jadeveon Clowney on the line, on either side. Yeah. I looked at Seattle. Seattle was another great defense. He leaves, Seattle's defense is garbage, but then he goes to Tennessee and he's garbage. Like, I don't get that. I don't know.
Players age differently in the NFL, Brian. Some play in different positions. Like, you can look at the quarterback position where players can last 15 to 20 years, but then look at other spots like on the line, or like especially running backs, they last like 5 to 10 seasons, if that. That's a good career. Sometimes a lot of them only last a few seasons. And Jadeveon Clowney's been in the league how long? 6 years. He's going on his 7th season after this. So he's been in the league for a while, and he's gone through a lot of injuries. So I'm surprised he hasn't panned out this year, but at the same time, he's at a position where players don't exactly age as well as you would like.
He's out for the season. I don't know what y'all want from him. And he came in the middle of a pandemic, so I expected his numbers to be down more so than usual. But Jadeveon Clowney's never been like a sack guy. Like, he's never been a double-digit sack guy. He's been more so of a disruptor than anything. That's how I've always seen him in Houston.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. So we're going to transition into the second segment, going off of Derrick Henry. Speaking of him getting his 2,000 yards, he was only the 8th in NFL history. Titans are actually the only team to have 2 players to do it. They had Chris Johnson back in 2009 who also did it. So going back on these run-first offenses, so how do we feel about running backs and just the running game in general? Like, I guess I'll include dual threat run first quarterbacks as well. How do we feel about the running game being the focal point of offenses in this kind of new era that we're entering here recently? We've seen a few teams doing this. So how are we feeling about this?
I'm not. It's different, but it's anything different from like the 80s and 90s when teams were just running the ball instead of passing the ball. If you have a good defense and you have a good running attack, chances are you could win a Super Bowl with that. Like, look at the 2015 Denver Broncos. They had a historic defense and a good running game. Peyton Manning wasn't that good, and Brock Osweiler wasn't that good. They were serviceable at best. And because of the defense and the run game, they won the Super Bowl and destroyed Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. Tom Brady, same thing. In that Super Bowl, he was terrible, but he had a good defense and a good running game to help support him and win his 6th Super Bowl. So if you have a good running game and you have a good defense, you can do it. But the problem with Derrick Henry is he's the running game, no problem. 2,000 yards is 2,000 yards, no problem. But his defense isn't holding up their end of the deal. So if their defense can't get any 3 and outs and the team has to rely on Derrick Henry and defenses know that they have to focal point on Derrick Henry, that can be a problem. And if you can just focalize your point to Derrick Henry and stop the running game and make Ryan Tannehill pass the ball for like 30 or 40 times a game, and the defense can't stop nobody, they're probably not going to make it past the first or second round. And it's going to be a struggle for them.
Right. So, CJ, looking at the past teams who have won Super Bowls based on defense and running the ball, the only team that you can actually look at, because I feel like the Denver Broncos were mostly just it was mainly just defense, and it's a team that a template that seems like it's more of a fluke rather than like an actual template for teams to follow for years to come. You don't see many teams that are centered on the run game that win Super Bowls. It's mainly teams that are centered on you can pass the ball, you can run the ball, you have a serviceable two-dimensional team, and you have defense. So basically the main template for winning Super Bowls would basically be balance nowadays. The days of Trent Dilfer and say a washed up Peyton Manning winning Super Bowls, you just don't see it anymore. And I feel like when I saw the 2015 Broncos, it was a great season. I can't believe they did that, but at the same time, I still can't believe they did that. Because it's just a template that just doesn't typically work. You look at the 2018 Patriots, yes, they had a solid run game, but I think that Super Bowl, that game alone, is very deceiving. Because if you look at the rest of that season beforehand, that was not really the way the team was structured. It was mainly their defense was okay. They had a good running game, but it was mainly Tom Brady passed the ball, and they played good defense, and that was basically about it. Which is why nobody had that team winning the Super Bowl besides biased Patriots fans like myself. So that's it. So you can go back as far as that AFC Championship game. The defense was gone. It was just an absolute bloodbath. It was one of the great shootouts I've ever seen. They were just going back and forth. There was no defense. The running game was existent, but it was mainly in the passing, where specifically in overtime, where when Tom Brady was forced to throw, when the offense was forced to throw the ball, they could do so and do it effectively.
Oh, you're talking about Kansas City, New England.
Kansas City in 2018.
All right.
They were able to throw it effectively when they had to, which is why I say the main template for winning championships is not focused on the run game, but it's focused on balance, being good everywhere. You can go back to any team, the Kansas City Chiefs in 2019. They had a solid defense followed by an awesome offense, centered around their passing game. They had their best guy was Damian Williams.
Yep.
They had the season prior, it was the New England Patriots, who had a good running game, but like I said, that was more of like a balanced attack. 2017 was the Philadelphia Eagles, where they were more focused on their passing attack and defense, and they were serviceable running the ball. And you can go back to 2016 as well, where the running game was good. LeGarrette Blount was having a career year, but it was mainly Tom Brady having, where if he didn't miss 4 games, he probably would have won. He had a solid case at winning MVP. And the same thing, 2015 is a fluke. 2014, the New England Patriots again. You know, you go back into all of these years, it's all, at least in this modern era right here, like, yes, there's a lot of teams that are starting to center around the defense, but where are the actual results of Super Bowls? It's all like, you'll see the Vikings with their run for first defense. I feel like they've hit their ceiling, what they want to do. There's the Dallas Cowboys with Ezekiel Elliott. They can't do anything. There is the Jacksonville Jaguars back in 2017. The best they could do was just compete a little bit with the New England Patriots for a little bit. Yes. They had no shot.
You're terrible now. You are terrible. They had a chance to win that game. They had a chance.
You cannot rely on Blake Bortles to win you a championship. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen.
Stop that.
Dude, Blake Bortles.
They had a chance.
They had a chance, but that not to win the Super Bowl, just to get there.
Okay, Justin.
We don't know what happens in the Super Bowl then.
Well, I don't really know. I forgot where it was. Allen Robinson on the Bears then, or no?
No, he wasn't. He was
on the
in Jacksonville.
So
Allen Robinson tore his ACL. Allen Robinson tore his ACL that year. He was out. He was gone.
That was the year Leonard Fournette was like a beast.
So it was centered on the run game. They couldn't run the. It was the game script did not allow for Leonard Fournette to take over the game. That alleged legendary defense got the top taken off him by the greatest of all time, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. All right.
You and me must have been watching 2 different games.
Yeah.
We were watching the same game.
We were not.
Leonard Fournette just had a decent game. He could not take over that game, and that's the And that is the problem with run first offenses. Game script. They are reliant on game script.
I just can't now.
The defense was not able to play that well.
Brian, how about you?
I'm speechless right here. I'm sorry.
Speak up.
The defense wasn't probably able to play that well because they were going up against like maybe Tom Brady was the real answer. You can't really blame the Jacksonville defense on that end.
Right, but where do you think they would have played as well as they did if they weren't having to go on the road? You know, they were able to win a few more games because that defense could only get them 10 wins that season.
Okay, what was the score in that game? Can you tell me that?
What was it? 28-24.
Yeah.
And you're telling me Blake Bortles did not have a great game, and you're telling me Leonard Fournette.
I'm not saying he didn't have a great game. I'm saying if you're relying on him to win a game, then you're screwed.
No. If you have like a little amount of talent at wide receiver, and you have a running back, like you could refer to this to Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry. The running game there is better for Ryan Tannehill is better than his wide receivers. Bortles relied on Fournette that year more than his wide receivers. I don't really know any of his wide receivers that year. I kind of forgot that.
That's the way the running game was. That's the way the running game, the offense was structured. It was run the ball and gash them and let the defense do the talking.
Yeah, because that was the Patriots' weakness. They couldn't really stop the run that much.
And it didn't work, did it? Because the game script did not allow it. It was a shootout. You can't run the ball in a shootout.
It was not a shootout. You guys lost. You guys won by 4.
Do you know what a shootout is?
Shootout.
20-24.
I can't.
Both
I
teams are
can't
scoring.
with any of you right now. I just can't. For the life of me, I'm still stuck on the fact you said Tom Brady took the top off the defense. I refuse to let you have that one. But we're getting off topic.
I'm sorry about that, Adam. I have to disagree with you on that too. There's no way that.
Do you know what his stat line was? He threw for nearly 300 yards and 3 touchdown passes.
That is not taking the top off the defense.
That's still good. That's not legendary defense. They gashed Pittsburgh. Why couldn't they do it to New England?
All right, let's look at the cons. All right, how many sacks did Brady have?
How many sacks? I'll have to look.
How many times did he get sacked? But we're way off topic here. We are way off.
If anything, that would make it more impressive. If they were able to sack him and he still couldn't do it, if the team is centered around defense and running the ball, it's not number one, it's not sustainable, because like I said, some defensive players are disposable, and running backs are those running backs age like milk. Then on the other side, you have quarterbacks who can last 15 to 20 years. And even wide receivers can last up to 10 years.
Yeah, good.
So which one are you going to take? The more sustainable way, which actually wins championships, or the other way that doesn't win championships?
I'll take both, okay? Because
both. You can only take one.
You can only
pick one.
I'm taking one quarterback.
I know you want to go against me. Go ahead.
I'm going with the running back.
You're gonna go. All right, you choose failure.
No.
Oh my!
Because even if that running back does not pan out by 5 or 6 years or something like that, or 8 years, whatever you said, you draft another one. You sign another one. There's always good running backs coming out of that draft.
Right, but that's not sustainable. Why not? Why do that when you can just take one quarterback for 20 years?
You can just keep the quarterback. All right, there's no reason for.
Because not every quarterback plays for 20 years.
Well, Tom Brady did. I did say 15 to 20 years. I said 15 to 20 years. That's the same with.
All right, so
the same can be said for Peyton Manning. He lasted about 16, 17 seasons. The same can be said for Brett Favre, who lasted since the beginning of time, it seems like.
I could say this.
Your quarterbacks lasted a very long time. Drew Brees lasted for about 17, 18 seasons.
He came in 01, the same year with LaDainian Tomlinson. So, yeah, he's been around a while.
Yes, and he has. And you are forgetting a quarterback here.
Who? Who's the quarterback?
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
The dude's 36. He's having an MVP season right now.
Yeah, you're just proving his point.
Proving my point.
Yes.
Quarterbacks last longer?
No, well, yeah, I'm saying that they last longer, but yes. I just wanted to correct you. If you I don't know if you're upset with Aaron Rodgers. Who knows? But
you're not correcting me. I'm just
adding that in. But yes, Justin, LaDainian Tomlinson, he lasted a while. Chris Johnson kind of lasted a little bit. But Tennessee,
they're not lasting as long as quarterbacks. That's his
not nearly as long as quarterbacks. And LaDainian Tomlinson was he wasn't a yardage like a bell cow guy. He was more of a scoring touchdowns guy, which is why he holds the record for most touchdowns by a running back.
30 tubs in a season. That's impressive.
All right. So if you want to go with quarterbacks, how about I mention Frank Gore?
Frank Gore? Okay. Well, there's an exception to every rule. Some works.
How many has he played?
How many good years has he played?
Well, I don't really know but he's been.
I don't really know.
He's playing with the Jets, so I can't even qualify.
Even if he doesn't have to have a bad year, if he just has if he's on a good team, his stats are where they should be. Then solid. That he's fine.
So why are we taking a running back? If the running back is supposed to be the centerpiece of the team, then why are we taking him to be this to be just okay, just like, oh, he's there, so he's fine. He's on the Jets and he's getting what, 300, 400 yards, so he's fine.
Yeah,
Even before, even on the team he was prior with Miami, he was only getting about 700, 800 yards. That's not that's not a player that you should be focusing your running game on, your whole offense on.
No.
So like, yeah, he's been around for a while, but he hasn't been like elite like since back in like the early 2010s. That was about it, if that.
He's still putting up solid numbers. All right, I still think the running back is there because I look at Tennessee's offense and who would I think of first on that offense? I think of Derrick Henry. I don't think of Ryan Tannehill. I'm still taking the passing offense. I think if Tennessee is forced to throw at any point, as much as I've loved the way Tannehill has played the past couple of years, he's overachieved. I don't love his chances. I don't love the team's chances if he's going to be forced to win games for you rather than Derrick Henry. Oh, and Adam, I'm also going to mention this. I look at the Carolina Panthers. Who does that remind me on the offense? Reminds me of Christian McCaffrey. Teddy Bridgewater is the one I don't even think of. Same with, Alvin Kamara and Drew Brees. Yes, so you could put those two together. I look at Minnesota. Dalvin Cook's the first one that stands out in that offense, not Kirk Cousins.
How many games has he played this year, Christian McCaffrey? How many games has he played?
He's played 3, but that doesn't matter.
There you go. That does matter because he's in his third year. He's in his third year of his career, and he played 3 games. He's looking like an old man out there.
I think it's the 4th year.
Tell me Carolina's record.
4th year.
Tell me Carolina's record. Bridgewater is a mess without Christian McCaffrey. He was a mess. He kept getting injured because of that line. If he had Christian McCaffrey, he would have some winnable games, like against Kansas City, lost by a field goal, even though he was playing that game. But Bridgewater still is not the key to that offense.
Right. Exactly.
He sticks to me on that offense. It's always, to me, the running back.
Right, because the focal point is the running back of that team, and if you're relying on him, then you're on the running back, then you're screwed. Because running backs, they get hurt easily. If they get large workloads, they don't last very long, and it's even when they are healthy, it doesn't seem like they can win enough games. Even in Christian McCaffrey's career year last year, the Carolina Panthers didn't even go to the playoffs.
Yeah, they didn't.
It didn't even make that much of a difference. And even this year, it didn't make a difference. And you mentioned Dalvin Cook as well. That team, he's having a career year. They're sitting watching the wild card round from home.
Yeah, because Kirk Cousins is a pathetic quarterback.
Exactly.
Like it's
so you're centering your. It's not running the running game. It's not defense and running game. That's a formula for winning championships. It's balance. Having Dalvin Cook is a good thing. I love Dalvin Cook. Believe me, he's been on my fantasy team for the past 3 seasons. He's awesome. I love him. But if we're talking about from real life, if you're relying on only him and you have a mediocre quarterback, then you're not going to win enough games.
Yeah, that's fair. But it's the opposite that you can't rely on the pass game either, because look at Dan Marino's career. So you don't want to go too far in the passing game either.
I could even think of a current player right now. Look at Danny Dimes right now.
That's not
terrible. You don't mention Danny Dimes to Dan Marino.
Yeah, well, without Saquon Barkley, he ain't too good there. He's been benched
a couple times. With Saquon Barkley, they did nothing. How many times have they been to the playoffs with Saquon Barkley?
0.
Saquon Barkley's been in the league for 3 years. Okay, like you have to give this guy time here. He's had a great season. It's just that they didn't have the defense for the first year. Now they do. They're not having the offense this year because he got hurt.
How did they do in that great season by Saquon Barkley, Brian? How did that team do?
They
didn't sniff the playoffs.
His first year?
They didn't sniff the playoffs, did they?
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
There you go. You're only proving my point. It's just
I'm not proving your point here. It's because
you are.
No.
You guys. Let's move on because we're clearly not going to agree on this one.
All right. We'll settle on it. I'm right. You're wrong. All right. So moving on. Tom Brady finally hits Tom Brady hits 40 touchdown passes at the age of 43 years old. That's the second highest in his career, with 50 in 07 in that legendary season. So a big question is, at this day and age, at age 43, is he a top 5 quarterback?
Yes.
Well, let's start the count. Let's see who you guys will put over him, and then we'll go from there.
I'm biased. You're not going to get an honest answer from me.
Exactly. So
in my mind, he's number 1. But if you want me to be honest, I'd probably have it's obviously Mahomes at number 1.
Yep.
Or at today's day and age, right?
We got to think of past quarterbacks too.
No, it's a flip between Rodgers and Mahomes.
I could put them and there's 2.
Potentially
Josh
Russell
Allen.
Wilson at today's day. I think it's very debatable whether they have the better season, but I think overall in the past 2-3 years, currently
Russell Wilson has an argument.
All right, what about Deshaun Watson or Josh Allen? Who would you choose between those 2?
Deshaun Watson is arguably better. He just doesn't have the team around him like Brady does. If you give him Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
he does. It's just that his defense isn't good. He has Wolf.
No, his offense isn't like that either. He doesn't have a good running game. His receivers are.
He has a veteran running back in David Johnson. He has Will Fuller. If he gets
David Johnson is terrible. He's a terrible running back.
He has no running back. Yeah, he has nothing there. Not that it needs anything going off of last segment, but
even though all right, he might not even have the running back if you disagree with that. But he has Will Fuller, even though he has Brandon Cooks surprisingly having a good year this year.
Because of him. It's not Brandon Cooks making Deshaun Watson. It's actually the opposite.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite.
And I feel
they still don't have that number 1 guy. I just don't. I'm not sold on Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks being like number 1 guys.
Yeah, and I think Will Fuller's a free agent, so
they
might have to draft him.
Come pick him up. Yeah.
So Josh Allen, can you make an argument for him? This year, yes, but
definitely.
Based off of statistics, I mean, it's hard to trump 40 touchdown passes,
but he
just
has
12 interceptions.
How many does Josh Allen have?
37.
37?
But I'm pretty sure Brady not only has him in touchdowns, but he also has him in yards.
I don't think he has him in total.
This is my best effort to not be biased right now.
I'm not sure. I don't think he has Josh Allen in total touchdowns, but you might be right. But I'm just saying he has the better season. He has the better record. I don't know who has like the better team. It's like a pick 'em. Like, who do you prefer? Like, offensive wise,
who has the better team? I'm gonna go with the Bucks as wide receiver and their running backs over Josh Allen's.
Yeah, but his team isn't bad either, and they have a good defense now, or somewhat of a good defense. I don't know what's wrong with them. They need to get their act together.
The Bills or the Bucks?
The Bills. Their defense isn't. Both defenses aren't good right now, but it's just the Bills considering what they did last year to this year. They took a step down.
Right. I think the Bills have the advantage with Josh Allen. Well, Josh Allen has the advantage because he's been in that system for a couple of years. So he's been able to he's more accustomed to what's going on there. He doesn't have to there's no adjustment periods. And as for Tom Brady, he's had to go through 2 adjustment periods, given they had to get used to the signing of Antonio Brown, which I'm still against.
I refuse to give you that. That's his fault for that. So that's self-inflicted.
But see, I don't blame him for that, and I'll tell you why. Antonio Brown is widely known throughout the league as one of the more toxic players in the NFL. He's destroyed teams. So when you look at that and you look at the way they were playing in that first half, they feel pressured to get him involved in that offense immediately, or else they'll be afraid he's not going to he's going to complain because he's not getting the looks that he wants.
Mhm.
And then at that point, when you feel that pressure to get him in, the offense isn't going to function correctly. And the offense is the focal point to that team, that passing offense. So if that suffers, then the whole team suffers. And I don't think it's a coincidence that as soon as they signed as soon as they signed Antonio Brown, they lost 3 of their next 4 games.
Mhm.
I still believe that if they just rolled with what they had and they just kept stuck with Evans, Godwin, and Gronkowski as their number one, as their core, I think they would have won. I don't think it's far-fetched to say they would have won 12 to 13 games this season.
Yeah, see, here's my thing here. Godwin
I don't know. Maybe not.
And Godwin was off and on sometimes because he kept getting injured a little bit with his finger. Evans might be a problem now because he just got hurt in that Atlanta game. So maybe the signing isn't quite awful as you look at it, but I understand what you're saying. When I look at Brown's seasons in Pittsburgh, his body language towards the coaches, the organization, Big Ben, he didn't go out right. Like, I understand what you're saying with Brown's attitude.
But my thing is this: was he on the team at the start of the season? No. Were the team coaches hammering him to be, let's go and get him? No. Who wanted him on the team, Adam?
I did want him on the team. I hate the signing now, but I agree. Like I have to admit.
Did Tom want him on the team?
Did Tom want him on the team?
Yes.
He did. He's wanted him on the team for the past 2 years. Yes, he's wanted him on the team.
Because he has
What you're telling me is,
saw it in that Miami game when he was playing it when he was playing his game in Miami when he was with New England.
Yeah.
Both of them. You saw that. Brown had, I think, I don't know if he had 2 or just 1, but he had a good connection, and then they released him at the end. I don't understand that. I don't understand that sign right there.
At the end of the season?
The game.
No, like the reason he got released was because of charges that he didn't tell the Patriots, and so they released him. But my point is this: everything that happened revolving around Antonio Brown was self-inflicted because of Tom Brady. Tom Brady did everything when it comes to that 3-game losing streak. I can blame Tom Brady for that. Whether it was trying to force feed it to Antonio Brown, Tom Brady's fault. Getting Antonio Brown on the team, Tom Brady. Making decisions to give Antonio Brown the ball when he probably shouldn't have, Tom Brady. That's why I feel like that 3-game skid was their fault. He didn't have to be on the team. Brady wanted him to be on the team. If Brady did not want him on the team, he wouldn't be on the team. End of story. So
I agree with Justin here.
And the bottom line is, we just named 5 quarterbacks that are arguably, or at least you can make an argument for them being better than Brady right now. Adam would make the case that, nah, I'd take him over like Allen or Wilson.
I'd take him over Mahomes. Screw it.
I can't do that. I can't do that. Not because I don't think Brady isn't worth it, but I get more years. I at least have like 5 or 6 more years, or like 10 years on that contract with Mahomes.
You know what? The way I see it, 1 or 2 or even 1 championship with this guy is 10 times more valuable to me than 6 with the next guy.
Okay.
So
Patrick
is that Mahomes can't win more Super Bowls, is what you're saying?
Do you think he's going to win 6 Super Bowls? Because I don't.
I think he can win 4 or 5.
He could probably win like 5 or something.
He'll struggle, but I think he could win like 4 or 5.
Here's my prediction with him, because I think that team is eventually going to split a little bit on the offensive side of the ball. He's gonna win all of his championships early on in his career, and then the team is going to become a little more they're gonna come down to earth.
I'm fine with that, just like the Patriots. They won 3 in the first part, and then they won 3 in the last part of Brady's career. That's fine.
Meaning he'll probably win like 3 or 4 Super Bowls, and that'll be it for his career.
Okay. So what you're saying is, So Mahomes, not even that old, in his 20s. He has that rookie at Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Tyreek Hill, not that old. The only person on that team that's on the older side is Le'Veon Bell and Travis Kelce.
It's not about age; it's about their contract, and if they're going to ask for a lot of money, they're going to have to trade some of these players away.
Mahomes is already signed long term, and I don't think Hill wants.
And it's a team-friendly contract too, because it's extended over like 10 years.
Yeah, and I don't think Hill wants to leave Kansas City because he knows that Mahomes has a bright future with that team, and Tyreek Hill is his guy. They have a special connection, just like Rodgers has with Adams, just like Josh Allen has with Diggs. Hill is not going to leave that team with Mahomes. And
right,
Mahomes,
he might want to get paid, or Kelce might want to get paid.
Peyton has already been extended. He's already under contract.
Is he under contract?
Those guys are already extended though.
I'm not sure. Hill probably not, but Kelce is. I don't know
how Hill has maybe, I don't really know how many years he has left. I forgot. But with
Brian,
Clyde,
on your inside sources, based on inside sources, you know Tyreek Hill wants to stay in Kansas City.
I think he will. I think he will. Because I don't think he has the guts to even say that.
You don't think he has the guts?
To even say that he wants to go to a different team because he doesn't get his money? I think he wants to win championships and get paid instead of just getting paid.
Well, he has the guts to break his kid's arm.
Tyreek Hill has a 3-year, $54 million extension with the Chiefs. So he'll be there until 2023, I believe, because of his rookie deal and plus the money coming in. I think. I'm not sure how contract extensions work with a 5th round pick.
It's gonna. I just don't see them being able to retain this whole entire offense. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to go through a period where it's this whole thing. It's going to come down to how well the Chiefs draft during the next 10 years during Mahomes' tenure. Yeah. If they can draft well, they might remain in contention. I'm just not sure if this team is going to be able to consistently draft so well that they're going to be Super Bowl contenders every year. They'll be competitive with Mahomes by default because he's Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, we've seen what has happened over the course of Aaron Rodgers' career, and ever since he won his last Super Bowl, they haven't really done much. They've been competitive, but they haven't won any Super Bowls.
Yeah, but it's not like they haven't been in contention. They've been to the championship. They just can't win it for some reason. I don't know why.
Well,
I think the Chiefs are going to go into that same funk that Patrick Mahomes, that the Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers are going through.
But so did Tom Brady. He went 10 years without winning another chip either. So it's not like, okay. I just think he can go a decade without winning a ring and then can win another one with a good team.
Right.
I think that could happen because of his age.
So, Adam, I'm going to have to ask you this. So, yes, they will have Kelce and Tyreek Hill back. The Chiefs will be losing 4 players on their offense. They're going to be losing McCole Hardman to free agency. Same with Sammy Watkins, Le'Veon Bell, and Demarcus Robinson. They're going to get maybe Damian Williams back to replace Bell. Clyde Edwards-Helaire might be.
Who the hell cares about Damian Williams? He's nothing
right now, but he was a vital part in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, he was key to that Super Bowl.
To the game, but he wasn't a key to that team in general that season.
I disagree.
Yeah, dude, he's a running back. All right,
exactly. Running backs don't matter.
In Kansas City, no, because Mahomes doesn't.
They do matter.
I appreciate you continuously proving my point here, Brian. Throughout even as we move away from segment 2, you continuously say, "Well, he's just a running back. They don't matter." Except you were trying to argue for running backs. So which is it?
For other teams, I was arguing for. All right, but I'm not going to arguing like guys like Damian Williams, who is
Damian Williams is an extension of the passing offense, and I don't think people realized how good he was for Kansas City in that Super Bowl as far as the passing extension of the offense. He scored what, 2 touchdowns, and helped them win that thing. If it wasn't Patrick Mahomes winning the Super Bowl MVP, it could have been Damian Williams.
Could have been. Mahomes threw 2 picks. Brady wouldn't have done that.
Yes, he would have.
Yes, he would have. Don't even start.
Give him Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and he's throwing four touchdowns and 0 picks.
Okay,
you say that now, but when he went up against the Saints, he threw 3 picks, and he had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Gronkowski. So stop it.
He also had Antonio Brown, who screwed up that team. I'm just telling you. I'm just saying.
Okay. You are a Brady fan to the core. You need to stop. You'll defend this man to the death.
Are you kidding me? Dude, that guy Hendrickson pressured Brady so much that he just threw these air balls just praying that someone would catch it, and it turned out to be a pick. If there was no way that it was Antonio Brown's fault, it was all Brady. Threw it away.
He was forcing it to Tom. He was forcing it to Antonio Brown. That's kind of the way it's ended up being during this second half.
Yeah. He needs to give the ball more to Mike Evans, but what do I know? He's gone 7 straight seasons with 1,000 yards. But
the main weakness for Tom Brady seems to be that his whole philosophy has always been his favorite receiver is the open receiver. That whole mentality is great until he finds that one receiver who he absolutely loves. It's like when you're in high school and you're like all even keeled, you're cool, you're hanging out with your friends, you're socializing, your life is all balanced until you meet that one girl. You're like, holy crap, I love this chick.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just screws up the rest of your life. Your life revolves around it. You're missing all your hangouts with your friends. You're not doing your homework. You're skipping out on practice to go. It's girls will screw you up, man. I'm telling you. and so will Antonio Brown.
Oh my God.
Well, with the stuff he's went through, then yeah, maybe. But I'm blaming Brady against that Saints game.
The point is, Tom Brady is arguably a top 7 quarterback. We just named 5 quarterbacks we could name ahead of him.
So meaning he's arguably top 5, not arguably top 7.
Yeah, either way, he could be top 5, but we could make an argument.
I could rank him over Deshaun Watson, maybe.
I'm not taking him over Deshaun Watson. I'm not doing that.
But the way Allen, Mahomes, and Rodgers have been playing, I'll definitely rank those guys over him.
I can't take him over Rodgers. His numbers are too good for what he's working with.
Those are givens.
Yeah.
I think
Mahomes and Rodgers are givens.
When you get to Wilson, Allen, and Watson, that's where it gets to the arguable section. Because you could argue that Brady's been better than all 3 of those guys, but you can also argue that each one of them has been better than Brady. So it gets very arguable after the top 2. So arguably top 5. Final verdict.
Fine.
But then there's Drew Brees. I'm head to head. Drew Brees comes out favorably.
Well, that's the Brees has been on the same team for his entire life.
Not true.
Scratch that. He was on the Chargers, but he's been on the same team for years. So and Brady is getting used to a new system. They go through another change in the offense halfway through the season, and I'm gonna take that as the main reason why this team finished 11-5 as opposed to 12-4, 13-3.
Okay, so what you're telling me is because of self-infliction problems that he caused to the team, Tom Brady's not top 5. Okay,
it's not self-infliction that a pandemic hit and they missed preseason and OTAs.
Pandemic.
Antonio Brown being on that team is his fault, and because of that, they went on a 3-game skid. You just admitted to that. So because of that,
admit that's partially his fault, but I don't think it's all his fault.
So you think it was Harry's fault?
I think it's partially Antonio Brown's fault that he's such a diva that it takes so long to. If he wasn't such a diva, they wouldn't feel the impatience to have to integrate him, the rush to have to integrate him into this offense.
But you knew that coming in, and you still got him. That doesn't change.
Right. It doesn't change, but he's
Just because you're aware of it doesn't mean you didn't know about it when you got him.
Yeah. Well, moving on. So this is pretty. So this was basically expected, but it's still news. Cam Newton and the Patriots mutually agree to part ways.
Oh no.
So I think we saw this coming, but I gotta say I'm surprised that it happened so soon, before the season even ended. Respect to Cam Newton for throwing 3 touchdown passes in his first.
Yeah, couldn't have that win. Let me just snatch that away from y'all.
So, looking at their next options, they have some, but I mean, I don't love any of the options that we've any of the possibilities that we've had so far. So I've been talking about Mariota a lot, Carson Wentz, Matthew Stafford. Those are 2 solid names, but they have contract issues.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if Brady would want to pay them.
Brady? You mean Belichick?
Belichick. I've mentioned his name so many damn times tonight. There's Jimmy Garoppolo, injury prone, but large amount of money.
Yep.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is a reasonable one. Mm-hmm. So, who do you think? Any new ideas for who the next quarterback should be for the New England Patriots? Because it feels like a lot of these names are thrown, and it's the same ones every time we talk about it.
The thing is with Marcus Mariota is that doesn't he have like 2 years with the Raiders?
He has 1 year after this one, so he'd have to be acquired in a trade or released.
So I don't know if the Patriots are willing to get Marcus Mariota if they have 2 veteran quarterbacks who are older than him, like Matthew Stafford and Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I'm assuming Carson Wentz is older than him. If anything, I would target Stafford or Wentz.
Nah, their contracts might come up to be a problem later on. But we're forgetting somebody. We're forgetting about old Phillip Rivers. We're forgetting about him. He'll be available after the season.
He might resign. I'm gonna say
might not. He could sign with the Patriots. He could go to that team, and hopefully him and Belichick can try to make the playoffs while they try to develop a quarterback behind him.
The thing is with that is that I think Rivers is having a lot of success in Indianapolis, that I think he is willing to sign with Indianapolis for probably a year or 2 for an extension. I don't think Rivers might not be an option, but yes, they would have to. I believe they would have to acquire Carson Wentz in a trade or sign Matthew Stafford or Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think those are the Patriots' go-tos. If they are drafting a quarterback, then sit him for a year. Like I keep saying, Mahomes sat for a year behind Alex Smith. You saw what he did last year. The next year after that, won a Super Bowl. You signed Stafford. I'm assuming you're going to give Stafford probably a year, because I don't think Wentz is going to ask for a year because he's already having troubles in Philly and he might want more. So maybe like Stafford or Fitzpatrick could be your option for 1 year, and then draft a quarterback this year and have him sit and learn under those 2 veteran quarterbacks.
You know, Stafford and Wentz are still under contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they'll have to acquire them by trade, and they're pricey contracts as well.
Yep, franchise quarterback type money.
Right, so you'd have to take on that, and if you're going to take a player to just take up time, just to kill time for when their next guy develops, I'm not sure if you want it to be like for franchise quarterback money. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, Marcus Mariota, those are, and maybe even Phillip Rivers, those are reasonable options. Jimmy Garoppolo, I keep on forgetting he's still under a pricey contract for the amount.
5 years, 137.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm not taking Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not. If
So-
I were the Patriots and our Belichick, I'm not taking Jimmy Garoppolo back.
Why not?
Just injury prone, and I think he just had that one fluke year with 49ers. I think the defense is more that helped him got him there.
He's better than that. He was. You could see the talent from even in his New England days. The games he started then, that wasn't a fluky year. I think the main issue with him is injuries. They keep on getting to him.
Yeah.
And he keeps on, every time he comes back, obviously he's going to be rusty and he has to get back into it. So he's always finding himself playing catch up all the time.
Yeah, I really can't.
That really kills him.
But when he first came to San Francisco, they went 5-0 and beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 44-20. I think was the score.
Yeah.
Right. So games that he's playing, he's been awesome.
Yeah. So when he plays, he could be very good. It's just a matter of just getting on the field and being healthy.
Yeah, and you just named a team named the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they're not even a playoff team, not even close.
But when he faced against them, they were a playoff team. They were
Okay, so name another team that's a playoff team that he outscored them.
the Saints.
Okay, then I'll give you that.
Yeah, they beat the Saints.
I'll give you that. But
The Super Bowl year, they outscored the Saints in New Orleans.
And they shredded through the playoffs if you didn't watch. They killed it through the playoffs.
Yeah,
Yep, they absolutely manhandled the Packers. Raheem Mostert just destroyed them for over 200 yards.
They nearly won the Super Bowl too. They were up 20-10. We keep forgetting that, but it was about halfway through the fourth quarter, and they were up 10 points.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just like the 49ers defense better than their offense.
What changed it was Wasp. That play that the Chiefs ran. Wasp and Tyreek Hill got wide open.
Yeah.
What's not to like about their offense? I think like their wide receiver core, their Super Bowl year was a little shaky. They had Deebo Samuel and Emmanuel Sanders, but this season they got Deebo Samuel back on year 2 when he was healthy. He was solid. They got Ayuk in the first round. He looks awesome. And Kittle is, when he gets healthy, I feel like his injury was more of a fluke injury. So I feel like Kittle.
Yep.
Kittle. He's going to be back. So if they just have Garoppolo or some quarterback, like a good quarterback, healthy, that's a pretty competitive team, especially with the defense to go along with it.
Well, to be honest with like the 49ers, I think you should just draft a running back. I mean, but like I don't know. What is what it is.
I mean, that depends if their DC stays too.
They have balance. That team has a lot. That team has good balance when they're healthy. They just need to get healthy.
Yep.
I think the 49ers, to me, just stick with Garoppolo's contract. I don't think the Patriots should even target Garoppolo in a trade.
All right. Yeah.
And I don't know, for the first round pick, draft a running back. Their running backs were really.
Oh my God, they don't need a running back. They don't.
Patriots, they do not need a running back. They have plenty there.
Not the
Yeah,
Patriots.
Damian Harris, and they have Sony Michel. They are fine.
I'm not saying the Patriots. I'm saying the 49ers.
Well, we're not talking about the.
They don't even need a running back. Their scheme does all the work.
They don't need it either. Yeah, they have Mostert. They have Wilson. They have McKinnon. They
got an arsenal there.
They have plenty there, and it feels like it's just like plug the guy in, and that system just It just works.
Well, Mostert.
As for New England, they definitely. I feel like the only options that wind up working are either Mariota, Fitzpatrick, or Phillip Rivers.
It's the only way. Just 1-year deals and wait for be the bridge quarterback until the actual drafted quarterback develops.
Exactly.
I still think they should target. I think they should still target like Matthew Stafford. Like he has the experience. He's there, even though he is under contract, which I didn't even know about. Mariota, to me, he's a young quarterback, but how many years would you sign him for? Fitzpatrick, he's a possibility. And what was the other one?
Phillip Rivers,
yeah. I'm gonna say he resigns with Indianapolis. The way the season they had, I think I'm gonna say he goes there.
So they could do that. So Before we finish, so Justin has an itch to scratch. He was watching Sunday Night Football the other night, and he was very upset. So Justin, you care to elaborate here?
The fourth quarter, I'm watching the game, and I see Jalen Hurts isn't in the game. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Why isn't Jalen Hurts the only reason they're in this game not playing? And as an NFL player or just a player in general, you play to win. You don't play or to lose or to tank or whatever. So I'm like, why is he benched? And why is Nate Sudfeld on the field? Why is that scrub, that bum on the field trying to make throws and getting intercepted? And I'm like, why? And then I hear like Doug Peterson talk after the game, like they were trying to win the game. I'm like, no, you weren't. No, you weren't. You weren't trying to win that game. You can't lie to my face.
You know what you sound like right now? You sound like that former head coach that coached the Jets. He was at a press conference. And he's like, "You play to win. You don't play to just play." That's the like, good thing about sports. I think that's what he says.
That's the most unforgivable thing. You don't know. I don't care where. I don't care about where you go from draft positioning. You don't 9 to 6 big whoop. You don't play for draft positioning. You play to win. And you just robbed the team of that opportunity to win by putting in a backup. And not just any backup. They didn't put in Carson Wentz. He was a healthy scratch. He didn't even dress for the game. They put in Nate Sudfeld.
He said, "Screw you." That wasn't an option at that point.
No. Even if he said screw the team, you still are obligated to put on the uniform. Carson Wentz can't just say no. It has
right. But that's a negative reflection on him, not on the team. If he just decides like screw you guys,
I don't think he did that. I think Doug Peterson said you're not playing and just healthy scratched them. I'm like, if I'm Carson, I'd be upset too. And the one thing I remember is 1 a.m. Like they did a story like at 1 o'clock in the morning. It was Jason Kelsey, Carson Wentz, and Zach Ertz just still on the field reminiscing like this might be their last time playing at that field together. And that says a lot. And
it does. Yeah.
I understand both sides to it, but I don't think it's necessarily like they were trying to lose. It seemed like more mainly they're trying to give other players reps, and they decide they're resting their starters, and they don't have anything else to play for.
What are you resting your starters for?
Resting.
Why are you resting Jalen Hurts specifically?
Exactly my point. What if they have nothing to play for? Then why are they playing?
Why are you resting Jalen Hurts? Aren't you supposed to give him reps? It doesn't help.
They gave him reps, but they don't want him to get hurt.
Jalen Hurts.
He needs all the reps. He's a rookie quarterback.
Fine.
They gave him plenty of reps. They gave him 3/4 of that game, in fact.
Yes, you don't pull a young quarterback in the middle of a game playing and just say, it's time to give the other guy reps. That messes up his confidence and it messes up his psyche. You don't do that to a young quarterback.
It's not like he was playing poorly. They had nothing to play for. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to play to win in a game where you're already eliminated. They gave him reps. They tried for 3/4, and then that was that. What's the point of them trying to win?
On that team,
the score was 14-17? They still could have won that game. They just didn't try to win that game. That coaching staff said, "Let's try to lose," and you don't do that to your players. The players on the sideline were mad as hell figuring that out because they didn't.
Let's say they do keep him in. Let's say they do keep him in.
Yeah.
Then Jalen Hurts. Say he's running a bootleg or he's running out of the pocket, scrambling, and after throwing the ball, he takes a hit. His knee's screwed up. The next season, he's not ready. When he comes back, he's unhealthy. And there goes your second-round pick, a player who looked promising, and he's completely – and his career seems like it could be over before it even starts. You got Robert Griffin III Part 2 over there.
Well, that depends on the injury, Adam. If he has like a screwed up,
it depends on the injury. And if it's a bootleg, I don't think that's going to happen.
Why take the risk of any injury?
Probably go out of bounds.
And also, what are the chances of a quarterback having like a torn Achilles?
It's likely depending on the circumstances.
It's higher. It's much higher with a dual threat like Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
you don't.
I'm sorry, but
You have nothing to play for. You don't want your guys to get hurt. It jeopardizes your draft position.
Why play him in the first place?
What do you mean?
Why play him in the first place if you're afraid he's going to get injured for next year? If you already have nothing to play for, why the hell is he playing then?
To give him some reps.
Then you shouldn't be worried about getting injured then, Adam.
They gave him some reps, but it got to a point. This Redskins team, this football team, God, I hate that name.
Oh, whatever you want.
This football team is playing to win. Their front seven is vicious, and they're playing for something. That is a very bad environment to put your potential franchise quarterback in when you have nothing left to play for.
And why was he playing in the first place? And why are you assuming that the Eagles were just playing to lose, or at least the players?
Adam,
I don't think the players were playing to lose. They were trying to win. They
were playing just to play.
I think they were playing to win. As a player, you don't come in there and like, gee, I hope we get our ass kicked by the Washington football team. No. You try to win that game. You don't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You're not trying to You're not trying to lose. You're playing your guys. You give them reps, and if you win, great. If you don't, okay, all right. We have our health at least. But if you play them the whole game in playing this scrap to the death against that front seven, that I think are going to give in the playoff some postseason teams some problems. You just don't take that risk.
I can't believe a Patriots fan is telling me this, because when you guys are talking about securing the first seed, Tom Brady plays regardless.
Actually, that's not true. In 2014, they had Brady playing a few reps. He played a few drives, and then they took him out for Garoppolo in about like the second half.
But did he play last game in Tampa?
He didn't.
He played
the last game of the season in 2014 was against Buffalo at home.
Yeah.
And they rested their starters for the rest of the season because they were like, we don't want to take the risk. We want to be as healthy as we can possibly be going into the playoffs. I'd be saying the same thing if it were a team that were eliminated, because you have some players, you have some first rep starters who might be part of your future, and if they get hurt, you're screwed over some meaningless game.
You're saying that as a person that's thinking about a franchise. I'm coming from the perspective of the player. You don't care about what the franchise is in the future. I'm trying to win now. My livelihood is on the line. I'm trying to win so I can potentially have a job for next season. Wouldn't
it be better to win a championship next season as opposed to think about it this way. If you are a star player or a potential star player like Jalen Hurts, you know you're going to have your job next season. So why not give reps to other players who are unproven to give them a shot to?
I don't know who has that job next season.
Have a role for next season.
I don't know if I have that job next season if Carson Wentz is still on. It's still on the team.
Carson Wentz is gone. He's completely gone.
How are you going to trade that contract? Who's going to take it?
He requested a trade. He's not going to go. He's going to be gone one way or another.
That's the trade, but that doesn't mean anything if you can't leave, if no one's willing to take the contract.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If I were Jalen, I'd be upset too with this.
I'd be upset
if give this guy his reps. You need to give this guy what he needs to do next year, what he needs to improve next year. Take him out in the second half or the fourth quarter.
They gave him his reps. He gave him 3 3/4 of games.
You play the full
You don't
game.
pull him. You don't do that. If you're talking from that perspective, he might as well not play.
There's no point.
And also another thing, if these teammates of Jalen Hurts were furious about this, like Jason Kelce, Zach Ertz, and Carson Wentz, what does that say to the trusting of the players' perspectives to the coaches?
Exactly.
You need to have a bond with the coaches and the players, not just the coaches saying, "Oh, we're gonna do this," and not like have the players' approval.
Carson Wentz didn't care, by the way.
Because Carson Wentz knew he was struggling with this.
Because Carson Wentz knew he wasn't playing. That's why he didn't care about the game per se. He wasn't playing, so it doesn't.
Carson Wentz already wants out. Carson Wentz wants out already. He already requested a trade. In case you
already know that.
That doesn't mean
he should have requested a trade like a while ago when Jalen Hurts was like.
Now Jalen Hurts understand the position Carson Wentz was in. It's not a fun position to be in the same position.
Well, it may not be fun, but it's just that's just football. You play to win, and Carson Wentz does not. You play to win championships, and Carson Wentz does not put them in the position to win championships. Jalen Hurts does. So you protect Jalen Hurts with your life. You don't start him in a meaningless game.
Okay, and what are the chances of having a serious knee injury, which is like doubtful?
It's not a chance I'd want to take.
That's doubtful to even have a serious knee injury, all right? Teddy Bridgewater had that in practice. That's the only one I really heard of, besides
Brady
torn Achilles in a game, which was like, what, the 5th week or 2nd week of the season that year? But Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, playing in the 4th quarter, he needs to play the full game.
You just don't do that. You just don't do that.
3 full games.
Do that.
You're robbing your players of something. It truly felt like you were deceiving them because they didn't think Nate Sudfeld would be playing unless it was a blowout. How can you excuse? It's unacceptable. They didn't think.
They were losing by a field goal.
Okay, so they were losing.
Yeah, by a field goal. All right.
Doesn't matter. They were down. You have to fight and claw, especially against that defense. You have to scratch and claw to get back. That team actually has something to play for. They're fighting to get in the postseason.
So do I want? I don't want it to come at my expense. No, sir. I don't want to get my butt because they want to get to the postseason. No, I'm stopping them at all costs if I can help it.
Okay, so you're basically risking injury. You're risking your franchise. You're risking draft position, all for pride, is what you're saying.
Yes. I don't care if it's for pride. I don't care if it's for victory. You do that in the NFL. That's just how the players play.
Enjoy watching as an Eagles fan. Well, you're not Eagles fan.
I'm not an Eagles fan.
You are Eagles fan.
The Ravens would never do that. The Ravens would never do that.
Who are pissed watching these next few Super Bowls from the couch? If you think that. If you just want to play for pride, that's it. Not winning Super Bowls, not playing to win games.
I want to play to win. You don't do that. You don't do that.
Adam. Win championships, win playoff games. Don't win these meaningless regular season games.
They are not meaningless. You're basically telling your team, I'm willing to lay over just for draft positioning.
What do they gain from winning this game? If they won this game, what do they gain?
Momentum for next season.
They have momentum. Have you seen the way Jalen Hurts has played?
What momentum do they have now? Jalen Hurts played god-awful. He played god-awful and still was in position to win that game, and yet you pull him. And Nate Sudfeld played terrible.
He played god-awful. He had good stats. He played good. He played good football.
20. That's not good. No, absolutely not.
He played good. He played good enough. He had good games.
Yes, to win that game, yes.
It doesn't show up in the statistics quite as well, but if you watch the game, he was getting the ball down the field. He was balling well enough. They had plenty of – and from these past 3 games, they've had plenty of momentum going into the season after. They upset the Saints. This new kid, Jalen Hurts, has injected new energy into this team. And that energy goes away if Jalen Hurts gets hurt.
What energy do they have? They just came off a loss to Dallas, and now they lose against the football team? We don't even know if it's DC or the Northwest. They're just called the Washington football team. And you're trying to tell me I have momentum because my QB is not injured or potentially could have gotten injured, and I got to wait till next season for this potential draft pick who may or may not be good? And if you actually look at their draft history, they haven't drafted a Pro Bowler in a while.
When the roster is the way it is, that's the standard. Is just playing well, and if you lose, then so be it. Because
you
it's
don't play for draft
meaningless at this
positioning.
point.
You do not play for draft positioning. You do not do that. I don't know anybody who plays for draft positioning in the NFL. I don't know a player
When
that's
it's the final season of the when it's the final season of the
final
when
game.
it's the final game of the season, and you're down in the fourth quarter, it doesn't mean anything. Just let it go.
No,
Adam,
in that case, the Giants should have let it go. The Cowboys should have let it go.
And, by the way, they were only just eliminated last week by the Cowboys.
They still had a chance to make the play. They just got eliminated last week by the Cowboys. They had no momentum. It got killed when they got eliminated. And then they lose to this?
They still played well.
And
the standard is lower when you have the roster that you have.
Okay, well, Adam, let me ask you this. If you think that Jalen Hurts needs to have the season that he needs to have next year, you two both play sports. Off-season training or off-season like practices or like off the field. I mean, like off the field practices. What do you guys do?
What do we do?
Like what does the team do? What does the coach do?
OVAs, training camp, get together, know what the game plan is, call plays, or at least script them and work out and practice.
Yeah, and what I saw in that game, just pulling Jalen Hurts out, that had probably nothing to do with the game plan there. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You need to have a bond.
There was nothing to play for.
But
the game plan correlates to your desire to want to win a championship, not to play for pride.
Okay,
so they were playing to win that game.
When you're a franchise, you play for championships. You don't play for pride.
You're thinking of it as a franchise. You're not thinking of it as a player.
I understand the view of the players, but look at this side of the view of the players. Do you want your potential franchise guys to get hurt? They've gotten their reps. Jalen Hurts has gotten his reps. He's started 3 3/4 of game. He missed 1 quarter of football.
Then don't play him at all. Then don't play him at all. Just flat out say we don't want to win and we don't want to play him. Don't put him in the game and then in the fourth quarter it's like I want Nate Sudfeld in. When you guys clearly have a chance to win the game, you don't do that. That rubs me the wrong way.
Adam, even if Jalen Hurts was in the game or he is in the game, why would you automatically just change it to Nate Sudfeld? Like there's no correlation to that.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with the game script. Nothing at all.
The Eagles players don't know about it. The only person that knew about it was Doug Peterson. Everybody's looking all confused, like the hell's going on here?
I'm sure.
I don't know about the dysfunction of the timing of when they benched him. I just know that when you have nothing to play for, then you want to lower the risk as much as you possibly can. You can talk about as much as you want about the dysfunction, where the miscommunication and all you want, but at the end of the day, what matters when they have nothing to play for is getting as much as you can out of this, which is that your main player's health.
They get out of it.
There's no health, Adam.
What are you talking about? No health. Players were out anyway.
You call Jalen Hurts no health? Jalen Hurts.
And even if Jalen Hurts was injured in that fourth quarter, he would have so much time to recover, and he'll be healthy by next season.
Why take the risk? Injuries are harder to overcome. Have you ever played a sport? Have you ever had to overcome an injury playing a sport? It's hard.
I played hockey, all right? I had many surgeries on my knees, but did it keep me out for next season? No, because it didn't take me that long to recover.
Right, but you're not playing against pro players. You're playing against Little League.
I can't with you, Adam. I can't. You're looking at this like baseball. You can't do that. You can't.
Why not?
It's not the same.
How is it not the same?
Really.
General managers win you in baseball. Players that play as a team win you the games in football. That whole morale for Philly, it's down. Like they're messed up bad, and I don't understand like the positives about it. Like they have no momentum, no direction, no clear-cut way of going about it. Jalen Hurts is confused, saying on the sidelines, clearly saying it ain't right. Dougie Peterson clearly did not want to win that game, clearly had no intention of telling his players, and now the players looking all confused like, did this MF say he really was trying to win this game and lie to our face and tell us we had a good season? No, F you. Goodbye. I'm done with this. No, it's ridiculous what that man did that night. I'm not even a Giants or an Eagles fan, and I'm upset.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but they should think twice about retaining Doug Peterson. That to me, that was terrible. That was. Just,
I don't know. He's a Super Bowl champion, so he gets leeway.
But I'm sorry, but I don't give a damn if he won you a Super Bowl. That was unacceptable.
Yeah, I can tell you don't give a damn if they win Super Bowls. You care about regular season wins. You care about meaningless regular season games.
It's not me.
Rather than Super Bowl. I don't care about winning Super Bowl. I can tell. I can certainly tell.
You see it as meaningless, but to a player, they don't see it as meaningless.
I guess losses.
They don't see it as meaningless.
I guess losses are contagious in New York, aren't they?
Well, I mean,
the Jets.
In
Here in New England, we expect championships, son.
In Maryland, that's not the case. We got 2 playoff teams.
Well, okay. Well, if you want to talk about continuous losses in New York, let's go back to 2014 when the Jets knocked out the Patriots. Rex Ryan and Mark Davis were the ones who eliminated Bill Belichick and Tom Brady.
Who did? Who?
Right.
That was back in
2010?
Yeah.
2010? That was in the playoffs when that happened.
Yeah.
That was not a meaningless game. That was a playoff game.
Well, you're saying regular season losses, but they didn't have a regular season loss that year. They never did.
Yes, they didn't go undefeated.
10-6.
Well, they didn't. Yeah, I know they didn't go undefeated, but yeah, 10-6. That's a good record to get into the playoffs.
But they didn't. That wasn't a meaningless regular season win.
They almost went to Super Bowl, right?
Exactly. That's what you play for, to win Super Bowls and to be competitive. Win playoff games. Give your team a chance.
Yeah, give your team a chance. That point exactly. Give your team a chance. By pulling Jalen Hurts,
you're not doing anything.
You don't pull him. Give your team a chance, just like you said. Don't pull him and tell me you were trying to win that game. That's what kills me.
They were trying to win that game. I think they were just trying to play and just play the game.
If you want to win a Super Bowl and win playoff games, you need to have a special relationship like Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Doug Peterson needs to have that with Jalen Hurts in order to have these winning seasons and these winning playoff games.
So that means you need to be more understanding of the coach's decision to keep your players healthy and to do what's best for the team.
Okay,
I don't think that's what's best for the team. I think it's caused more damage than good.
It's more damage than good because people are being wusses about this.
So you're saying Philadelphia players are
reacting?
It's not an overreaction if Philly players are genuinely hurt by the decision.
Why are they hurt? Why?
Because they actually thought they could have won the game, and for some reason their starting quarterback got pulled. You don't do that.
Best case scenario is they win the game and nobody gets hurt, and you stay the same.
Yeah.
Worst case, and nothing happens. You gain nothing. You lose draft position. Worst case scenario, maybe you win the game or you lose the game, but Jalen Hurts gets hurt. Then you're really screwed. You have no quarterback. You have Carson Wentz, who's still pissed off that Jalen Hurts has replaced him and already requested for a trade.
I don't
have no surrounding roster. You're at the same position as the Jets, except without the draft position.
But I don't think they're in the same position as the Jets. They're not as bad as the Jets. They're just not.
Yeah, because of Jalen Hurts.
No, even if Jalen Hurts gets injured, I don't like. They still can get a quarterback. 6 quarterbacks can be taken. There's quarterbacks good.
The Jets at least have draft position.
But I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback.
The Eagles get number 9.
Either way, they could still get a quality quarterback, depending on where they could still get Zach Wilson.
Many of them out there. I'm sure Zach Wilson will easily fall down that.
Or Trey Lance, or Mac Jones, or Kyle Trask.
I don't like any of those quarterbacks.
Yeah,
it's not either way,
tickles
my fancy right now.
6
What are you
is
supposed to
better than
do?
9.
Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, like those two are going to be
6
like a
is
top
not.
10 pick.
Oh my God, I can't with you. Let's
6
just. We're
is
not.
a much better position than number 9.
I can't with you right now. Just end this. Just end this. We're gonna be arguing all night.
We'll just end with the victory. I take that one.
Victory.
All right, boys.
Victory.
All right, so that'll be it for us tonight. Check out our YouTube channel at just look up Fumblerooski Podcast. Look us up on Instagram on Fumblerooski_podcast. We'll see you guys next week. Over and out.
Go Ravens, go.
No.
Life is harder than I like to think, but it's easy when you're by my side. No point in calling, you just have to see the fundamentals of our love tonight. Cause I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you move. This isolation got me feeling like a movie, my love. Yeah, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quarantine, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart.